Hi, I'm Eric from RockyMountainATVMC.com, and today we're doing our first impression on our 2019 CRF450X. Well, here it is. This is a 2019 Honda CRF450X, and this is kind of my first impression, my first walk around. We just got some glamour shots of it, and I'm gonna go out and take her for a little spin and tell you what I think. It's got I guess a fuel richener, so it works like a choke. No key or anything. But as you can see, I mean, that is quiet now. It is super quiet. All right. Wow, right off the bat, the throttle response is just really smooth, but it's definitely there. All right, we've been riding for just a minute. I think I've got kind of a handle on what's going on here with this bike. And you know, first off, let me start with ergonomics. You know, this typical Honda, everything feels right where it needs to be. It's very comfortable. The bars feel a little low to me, maybe a little sweat back, but I'm pretty much a stand forward kind of guy. I kind of like a little taller bar. And then next, let's talk about this motor a little bit. So, fuel injection feels spot on. You know, on some of these fuel injected bikes, they kind of have a crack and an explosion, and sometimes they're a little tough to ride. It's just not smooth off the bottom, and this feels really, really smooth all the way through. You know, and there's probably a couple reasons for that. So the bike itself, the motor, shares a lot with the RX and the L, even the Honda 450L. So all these bikes have the same lineage, but they're all a little different. So this one has its own crank inertia. So maybe if you're familiar with a heavy flywheel, right? So it has the same effect as a heavy flywheel, so helps with the stalling a little bit, and makes it nice and smooth, but it still feels like it's revving nice and fast. So with the exhaust, definitely has a different header, has different exhausts than the R's and the X's. It's probably more similar to the L on the exhaust, so really quite exhaust, and I think that also lends to how smooth this bike is. It's almost linear. Still seems to have plenty when I need it. I kind of wish there was a little bit more off the bottom to get me out of trouble, but for a trail bike, it's pretty awesome. So now let's go to suspension and handling, and starting with the front. I really like this version, these Honda forks. They call them they're A-kit forks, basically. They're similar to an A-kit. Maybe they have a little different setting to them, a little different coatings, but they're a spring fork, and they feel really good. I'm probably sitting about 210 right now, and the forks feel pretty dang good. They actually are maybe a little divey, but not super bad. I'm liking the forks, and the bike feels balanced, but I don't know what I'm feeling in the rear. On some of these big sand whoops, I think I'm just feeling more than anything the weight. And it's kind of interesting. Honda claims this to be 275 curb weight with fuel, ready to ride. And we have a scale that we threw the bike on when we got it yesterday, and it's got full tank of gas, so just like it's supposed to be. We came in with 272.5, so really close to claimed weight. And we also had a 2019 KTM 450X CRF right there for comparison, and we threw it on the scales, and it was a little surprising. It came in at 232.5, half a tank of gas, so add another 7 pounds to that, but you're still, my gosh, over 30 pounds heavier, and that's a huge difference. So when I'm talking about the suspension, what am I feeling? Is it spring rates are wrong? Am I too big for the spring rates, or is it just something that it's just heavy? Could be all those things, but you get those big sand whoops, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time keeping it behind me and in a straight line. But everything else, all these other little hits, all the little chop, actually feels really good. And I'm sure, oh, that's a good point. Don't have handguards. The bike actually has some pretty decent protection on it. It's got skid plate. It's got the engine cases are actually even covered. Part of that's for noise suppression, but it also does a good job of protecting the cases a little bit more. But no handguards. It's got it's got front disc protection, which is kind of nice. And these brakes are awesome. They're Honda's got their big rotors. These are the same brakes they're using on the fast bikes, and The braking is awesome. Woo. It has actually really cool, has a wide ratio 6-speed transmission that is actually really big news, because you've got a really nice low first gear, and then you got a, I don't know, they're saying an 85, 90 mile an hour top speed. I haven't had a chance to see that yet, but that'll be interesting to know. This is an awesome bike. Typical Honda. Fit and finish are great. It is exactly what you would expect from Honda. It runs good, it feels good. And I think for who it is targeted, I think it's perfect. I can only imagine that as the trail gets gnarlier and tighter and steeper, this thing's really going to shine. But yet it can come out here and do this just fine. I'm actually going to be riding this bike for a little bit this year. I'm going to try to do some racing on it and build it. Maybe personalize it for me a little bit. So you want to stay tuned and catch that for sure. Anyways, first impression, awesome bike, having a good time riding it. And stay tuned for our long-term test. So this bike, like we was just talking about, it's targeted for a trail rider. So this bike is 50 state EPA legal, California green sticker legal, so you're able to ride this bike year round. And Honda has other bikes. They have other 450s. They have other bikes that are very similar to this platform, that if you do another kind of riding, that bike's probably going to be a little bit better for you. So if you do more moto, of course, the CRF450R. If you are more of a closed course racer, so a GNCC, a Works, maybe you're a vet rider that does a little bit of track on the weekend and a little bit of trails, during the week or something like that, the RX might be a better bike for you. It's a little bit more aggressive, it's a little lighter. This bike, of course, is for that trail rider. And then you have the CRF450L that's street legal, that still shares a lot of things with this bike, but now you don't have to worry about public roads. You're totally street legal. So I'm excited about this bike. I do like Hondas. I think this bike is a perfect platform to start tuning for and adapting to my tastes and my likes. And I think it's going to be exciting to build this into my bike. If you like content like this, make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a ton of videos out there. If you're in the market for parts and accessories, we have a great website, RockyMountainATVMC.com. Make sure and check it out, and I'll catch you next time.